flesh, dirt, maggots, and ghosts. Our job is to keep them where they belong. It's your first night, so you'll need this. A ghostly lantern for ghastly tinkering. You'll learn to peer into the souls of the dead. You'll learn how to twist them. Meet me in the Necropolis.
Okay.
You can pilfer shiny things from a corpse.
Takže klasika jonkování z hrobu.
Glorious things from a soul. I need a grave digger.
Už je nový bossové, jo. Jasně, kvolko. To se divím, že přidávají nový bosse. To se jako divím, že přidávají nový bosse. Cool.
In the Necropolis League, you will encounter Undertaker Aramor, a man collecting the scattered spirits of the Eternal Empire for a mysterious purpose. These spirits have begun to haunt the monsters of Rayclast, unleashing their ancient fury and sorrow onto the world. The Undertaker will provide you with the Lantern of Aramor, a powerful family heirloom which can illuminate the wrathful spirits haunting monsters throughout Rayclast. With it, the Undertaker hopes to employ you to rid Rayclast of this menace, and further his cryptic cause. The lantern can be used when entering any new area.
Už to vypadá jako ligy z historický.
The lantern also allows you to manipulate them, letting you configure which monsters are affected by which mods. It would be wise to take your time with your decisions here, for the spirits are not forgiving. When peering through the lantern, you can also see extra details about the packs of monsters in the area. Rowers here are considered common, whereas the water elementals are more scarce. If you want things to be easier, you can put the more difficult spirits on the elementals, which you'll encounter less often. We've tried to make sure that by engaging with the lantern, you are able to intelligently control the difficulty in the Necropolis League. The spirits come in a number of forms which represent the danger they pose. For example here, the infested vultures are servant haunted, causing them to deal a small amount of increased damage. But the Bull's Vanguard are noble haunted, causing them to deal a large amount of increased damage.
Jež to má jaký tiery, damage, jasně.
Areas in Rayclast, the tier and number of spirits that are haunting monsters will generally increase. Your game knowledge can help you here. If you're aware of the composition of a monster pack, this means certain mods will be easier to manage. For example, the mod that increases a pack's damage for every monster killed has no effect on packs with a single monster, like a Devourer. However, if we found a spirit that makes the strongest monster in a pack deal 100% more damage, I'm going to avoid the Devourer. You might have noticed that the Lantern of Aramor provides other useful information, such as the types of abilities monsters use, or the damage types they do.
Takže ve chvíli, kdy pokaždý, když měníš jako lokaci, tak si to jako vybíráš, jo, nebo co?
The spirits are constantly moving throughout Rayclast, so if you are finding a campaign area too difficult, you can just wait a few minutes and peer through the lantern again to see what's changed.
Riperone?
Of course, powerful spirits beget powerful rewards. There are two reasons why you might want to face a challenge now and then. Firstly, not all the spirits are malicious. Sometimes the monsters aren't haunted at all, but are instead devoted. These can grant basic rewards like increased experience, or bigger rewards like spawning the Nameless Seer, an NPC that will grant you a single unique item after you defeat all of the packs affected by that spirit.
Alright.
The more haunted monsters you defeat in the previous area before using the lantern, the more likely the devoted monsters will appear in the next area. Monsters haunted by higher tier spirits will increase the chance of the devoted appearing even more, meaning that sometimes it's worth putting
To má za strašný loot filtr.
on very common monsters.
To je strašný.
Brave enough. Again, we've tried hard here to allow players to customize the danger and rewards as much as they can. Aramor is an undertaker, and you can probably guess what we're taking to him. The second main reward from the Necropolis League is monsters with unresolved anguish. Once slain, their corpses need extra care from the Undertaker, and he will offer to take them back to his
Jak
Necropolis
jede na
in
tom
the morgue.
kolečky, přes tím kolečkem, tu.
Time to earn your keep. When you are ready, you can visit the morgue to view the monsters you have collected, and then get to work burying them in one of many graves in Aramor's cemetery. For example, we will bury this Katava's Herald.
Hej.
Aramor's mysterious soul experiments can coalesce powerful items. Here I've chosen to create a pair of boots.
Of Lunaris, heal your pains and aid this soldier, so that you may grace them with fleetness.
These boots are useful for my character, but aren't exactly what I hoped for. And this
Hlavně je nemůže nosit.
crafting system rarely shines. You'll have noticed that the corpse we collected earlier had a crafting effect on it. In fact, all collected corpses do. If you bury multiple corpses in the cemetery, all adjacent corpses can be exercised at once to create one item. All of the crafting effects on those corpses will apply to that same item.
Hej.
This allows you to have either one or many different crafting projects ongoing in the cemetery. For example, next time I try to create boots, I could bury corpses that increase the chance of getting move speed modifiers. To go further, I could use these to generate higher tier modifiers. Then, I could try to bias it towards being an evasion pair with this. Finally, I'll apply some crafting effects that improve the probability of getting good rolls.
Okay, tak ukaž.
Now, let's craft our item and see what we get.
To vylinkuje všechno.
As you can see now, we have a much better pair of boots, forged from the souls of our enemies.
Okay.
Even use the entire cemetery to craft
To
one
si dělá
item. There is
pro nějaký...
always something you can do to try and ensure your item will be as best as it can be. We hope to see some
Okay.
really crazy grave crafts.
No tak to jsem teda zvědavý, co to bude za crafty, hele.
If you are lucky, you might find corpses with meta crafting modifiers. These can be buried to manipulate your crafting projects in more drastic ways. This one increases the potency of all crafting effects of adjacent undead corpses. Another meta crafting modifier gives a chance to drop an extra item from your craft, with all the same crafting outcomes applied. All you
Dobrý.
have to do is bury a lot of undead monsters.
May the ferocity of Throldana free you of your anguish and aid this soldier, so that you may shield them from harm.
You can also craft new unique items exclusive to the Necropolis League using this system. As you explore Rayclast, you might find the corpses of famous Eternal Empire families.
Okay.
When you bury an entire family together and exorcise them, they will thank you with a unique specific to their lineage.
May the painters and poets of the Novalius family spread the story of the Eternal Empire far and wide, so that all may...
For example, the Novalius Inheritance Belt. I'll give you a moment to check that out. You can use other corpses alongside them to grant implicit mods,
Okay.
manipulate the values of explicit mods, and more. In this case, with the Parandus Pack,
Doufám, že teda jako
the modifiers
zatím to vypadá extrémně komplexně a doufám, že někde bude relativně jednoduše vysvětlený, jak přesně jako, nebo ne jak přesně craftit, ale jak jako obecně craftit, protože už to zase teď vidím, že jsi to úplně zmatený, jenom
type,
kolik tam toho jako prostě můžeš narvat.
which increases the chance of getting life modifiers.
Jasně,
Let's see
voda.
what we get.
O to jsem zvědavý teda.
Damn, we didn't get it this time. I guess we're gonna have to go and collect more corpses. Of course, you can trade the corpses away to other players. All you need to do is purchase empty coffins from the Undertaker and use them on your corpses in the morgue, which will itemize them.
O můj bože.
Another item in the Necropolis League that you can find are Embers of the All-Flame. These are monster spirits that remain living in the All-Flame, a powerful ancient artifact of Rayclast, and you can set them free by placing them in the Lantern of Aramor and defeating them. These embers drop throughout Rayclast as itemized packs of monsters. You are able to use these packs to replace the packs in areas. For example, we have found this All-Flame Ember of Tarfoa. We can now go to enter the next area and replace one of the monster packs in here. You can see we have also gotten one of the devoted modifiers to appear. We can pair up the Karui ancestors with this modifier, making them even more rewarding. Let's go ahead and replace the tentacle miscreations. However, when replacing packs, you want to double check their density, as the new pack will inherit the density of the replaced pack.
OK, jasně. Když si budeš chtít něco jako buffovat, tak to většinou chceš dát na paky, kterých je prostě větší množství v té oblasti, OK?
There are many different types of itemized packs. You can find Breach and Legion monsters that drop splinters, untainted packs that provide insane amounts of experience, and even simple frogs, which can be used to replace difficult monsters to make life easier. And of course, these Ember monsters can be raised as specters too. Finally, let's discuss how this league works in in-game maps. Each in-game map will allow you to manipulate it using the lantern on the map device UI. However, instead of randomly cycling every few minutes, it is fixed to that map. Once you view the map through the lantern, you cannot remove it from the map device, so you can't trade that map away now that you've seen it is too difficult for you, or has monsters in it that you'd rather avoid, like porcupines. We're also trying something new this time around. During the Necropolis League, there will be support for the league on the Atlas passive tree.
Takže jenom pro tu ligu, jo. OK.
To enhance the gameplay, customize it, and even change its behavior in meaningful ways.
Takže teďkom přidávají pasivky do atlasu speciálně pro danou ligu, jo. Což je zajímavý, to se mi jako líbí teda.
With this keystone, all the monsters with unresolved anguish come with this crafting modifier, which causes them to generate a random craft when buried. This means instead of pre-planning your crafts, you have to adapt to them on the fly to get the best results. These clusters will not be available in Standard League.
Jasně, to dává smysl, když je to jenom league mechanika.
Of changes to the endgame, with introducing new bosses, adding another tier of maps, and streamlining the atlas. The most difficult and most rewarding content in Path of Exile can be found in Uber Pinnacle bosses, such as the Maven and the Searing Exarch. Currently, the only way to access these bosses is by allocating specific keystones on the Atlas passive tree.
Jasně.
While this system offers a nice element of control, it causes a problem. Rewards and access to the non-Uber variants are now economically priced around the rewards of the Uber fights. This means it is wasteful to run the non-Uber variants instead of...
Jasně tak.
Another problem that we noticed is the difficulty jump between the Pinnacle and Uber Pinnacle content was relatively large. And there wasn't...
Oni budou nerfovat?
...could bridge this gap. Many players would give up on their characters before being able to defeat the Uber Pinnacle bosses.
Říkají, že budou nerfovat Uber bosse.
We will be making some changes to this. We are removing the keystones that give access to the Uber Pinnacle bosses from the Atlas tree, and instead we'll be adding a new set of fragments that give you access to this content. Where do you get these fragments? We are adding a new tier of maps, tier 17 maps.
To je 17, jo, tak ty vole. No, tak ukaž.
Uber monsters, and a new tier of modifiers that can roll on the maps.
Alright, now you're talking.
Maps in total, with some
nový mapy, jo.
We'll look at a couple today, and the rest you'll have to discover for yourself.
To je hodně dobrý.
First, we have the Citadel map. This map contains an ancient Kalguran citadel. You will encounter many expedition monsters as the signature packs throughout the map. At the end, you will fight Uber Uhtred. This is a version of a boss from Expedition League, with all its abilities and mechanics enhanced. Uber Uhtred will even be able to summon 2 other expedition bosses to aid it during the fight.
Jo, hodně dobrý.
We have the fortress map. This map is an impregnable fortress, guarded by monsters from the Heist League. At the end, you will encounter an Uber version of the Unbreakable. Again, it has enhanced abilities and mechanics you'll have to learn and overcome. Each of the Tier 17 map bosses has a chance to drop a unique item, allowing for some target farming. However, these aren't entirely new unique items. Instead,
Jasně.
other unique items, removing them from the core drop pool and rebalancing them to fit here. One
Alright.
example is this reworked version of Wraith Lord. It has 4 abyss sockets and allows you to summon an additional
4 abyss sockety,
each
okay.
RCI jewel socketed into it. Another example is Mana Storm. This has been rebalanced to grant a lot more damage than before, alongside some more impactful mana stats. If you
Jasně.
make lucky rolls. Alongside adding Tier 17 maps, we have also changed the Uber Pinnacle bosses to have completely distinct unique item drop pools from their non-Uber counterparts. This means there is a reason to farm both versions.
OK.
Look at the Shaper versus
OK, OK, takže...
The Shaper will drop these uniques: Voidwalker, Shaper's Touch, Solstice Vigil, and Dying Sun. Whereas the Uber Shaper will drop these: Echoes of Creation, Sublime Vision, Entropic Devastation.
OK, takže pokud budeš chtít nějaký item, který vyloženě...
The Tides of Time.
OK, Tides of Time.
Another example of a
Takže pokud regulárně budeš chtít nějaký item, který padá jenom z toho non-Uber verze, tak budeš muset farmit non-Uber verzi.
the Celestial Brace. Each of the Uber Pinnacle bosses has a new unique added to their drop pools.
Jasně,
We've
chápu.
identified another major problem with the endgame we'd like to address. With every expansion added to the game, we have been increasing the complexity of running maps. It's at the point now where a player must repeatedly execute a large sequence of steps to
Přesně, to jsem celou dobu říkal, že prostě ti trvá několik hodin,
and it can be tiring to repeat
že
them.
ti přesně trvá několik hodin, než setupneš jenom mapy.
Removing some
Neskutečný.
but are keeping what is good about them. The
Oh
two
můj
main
bože.
systems we've removed are Sextants and the Master Mission Selector.
Sextanty, jo.
Not our intention to dull the content, however. We have completely reworked Scarabs to include
Co budu dělat?
that were previously
To nebudu moc sedět v bázi a prodávat jenom ty sextanty.
some of them. Commonly, you might find Scarabs that simply grant access to different content. Here, we have a Scarab that causes Beyond Demons to spawn when killing monsters in your maps.
Okay.
And here, we have one that adds a Delirium Mirror.
Right.
Each type of Scarab now has multiple versions, so if you want to fully invest in a type of content, you can do so. Here's a suite of Ultimatum Scarabs. This Ultimatum Scarab adds an Ultimatum encounter to a map.
Okay.
This Ultimatum Scarab of Bribing then causes that Ultimatum encounter to grant better rewards and its monsters to yield more.
Okay, takže vlastně chceš pak jako...
Ultimatum Scarab of Dueling will cause that Ultimatum encounter.
Takže vlastně chceš pak přidávat jednotlivý typ skarabů, aby si dostával větší odemy, teda odměny.
That ultimatum to be catalysts instead of other rewards.
Okay.
Finally, this Ultimatum Scarab of Inscription will cause all catalyst rewards from that ultimatum to be inscribed ultimatums instead.
Alright then.
Plenty of others. If you enjoy divination card farming, you might want to use these.
Okay, takže vlastně budeš chtít prostě většinou skaraby jednoho typu.
But it also causes whatever map you're running to only drop divination cards from those favored maps. So if you want to try and aim for your mage blood and don't want to just farm Crimson Temple, then this scarab is for you.
Alright.
Divination Scarab of Completion causes your divination cards to have a 20
Že nebudeš moc být v Crimson Prison.
for maximum dopamine. Basically, there are now just a lot of scarabs. You might have also noticed that they no longer have tiers. Scarabs are now all world drops. You can get them anywhere. Some might be rarer than others, but the intention is that there'll be a lot more options than before, and more interesting combinations to consider. If you want to target specific scarabs, Betrayal has been updated to include most of them, and you will need to relearn which ones come from where. While this system is allowing you to heavily invest in one type of content, it is reducing your capacity for variety.
Jo, no.
To address this, we have massively increased access to content on the Atlas passive tree. You are now able to reliably get different leagues like Breach or Legion from just your Atlas passives.
Tak to je luxusní.
Content such as Incursion, Delve, Betrayal, and Bestiary, these two are now
Říkali.
scarabs.
Jasně.
Investment options on the tree.
A že se tím může stát, že máš všechny třeba master trainery v jedné mapě.
Einhar, Alva, and Nico to appear together in the same.
Jasně, přesně tak. OK, cool.
Some keystones such as Wandering Path, Grand Design, and Growing Hordes.
Wandering Path, jo?
New ones too. For
Ty vole, to bylo by pro Magic Find.
Vision,
Jasně, nemůže být modifikovaný fragmenta a Divine Vessels.
back to basics,
Jasně.
thorough exploration. We've added some new notables such as Remarkable Relics, which allows you to try find better variants of scarabs.
Jasně, lepší skaraby.
Mounting modifiers, which increases the values of modifiers on your maps by 2% for each explicit modifier. And Tainted Carapaces, which is just one in a set of many that allow you to target farm specific types of
Jasně, jasně, jasně.
These are just a few of the many new notables.
Jako vypadá to úplně narvaný ten atlas.
Lastly, we are giving you more flexibility in what content you want to run in the end.
Jako vypadá to úplně narvaný ten tree.
You can now have multiple copies of the Atlas tree, which can be swapped between maps at your leisure. You can unlock up to 2 extra trees for a total of 3 by progressing through the endgame and completing core content.
No konečně.
When you open a map, you can select
To je raketa.
what you would like to use.
To je raketa tohleto.
In League, you'll never feel constrained to playing your endgame a single.
Ano.
You can
Že furt musel jsem...
to easily identify
Že
which one
furt si musel to swapovat tree, když si chtěl dělat jinou strategii.
we're hoping to see
Tohle to je luxusní.
strategies shine.
Jako hodně dobrých quality of life changes teda.
Through the campaign in 324,
Nice,
you'll
nice.
notice a myriad of small improvements and surprises. The fundamentals of the campaign are still intact, but we've scattered fun encounters and secrets throughout Rayclast.
Jasně, Legion.
Dweller of the Deep has been trapped. What are these
Esence.
rituals doing in the northern forest? And
To nevím teda.
what are the omens?
To nevím.
This device looks safe. I should definitely use this on my items. There are plenty more encounters to discover. We'll continue adding more surprises in future releases, so keep an eye out.
Jako fakt jsem překvapený z toho, kolik těch věcí přidávají do jedničky,
Large number of
když
trans-
pracují na té dvojce.
These are alternate versions of existing skill gems that function in very different ways, allowing for more build and gameplay variety. At the time,
Dobrý Beybladeák.
expectations were higher than we could achieve. We planned more gems than we could make. So, in 324, we're adding another set of transfigured gems that we have now finished.
Pecka.
Ice Shot, Incinerate, Artillery Ballista, Tornado, Elemental Hit, Kinetic Blast, Poisonous Concoction, and lastly, Summon Holy Relic. Hopefully those of you who missed your favorite
Okay.
a transfigured variant will get that here. We will certainly be adding more of these in the future, especially for skills that are missing them still. Of course, we'll also be doing a balance pass on the existing transfigured gems. One of the main ones we're looking at is Kinetic Bolt of Fragmentation. As a result of this change, it is clear that the endgame potential of the Wander archetype really starts to suffer, mostly in the single target damage department. Due to this, we've added the new support gem, Sacred Wisps. This support gem causes supported skills to create 2 attached wisps for a duration. With these wisps, whenever you attack, they have a chance to also use the same skill, if you have enemies in your presence. And if there are any rare or unique enemies, they will always use the skill. That leads us into all the other quality of life features we're introducing in 324, and there's a shitload of them. Many of these have
Co
been
to řekl za slovo? Co to řekl za slovo?
We've added the automation
A
and
ver?
farm skill gems for being able to trigger instant skills and war cries without having to bind them to left click. You can now hold down control and left click to automatically apply certain currency on
Jasně, to víme.
the desired result, or you run out. For example, you can hold down fusings until you reach maximum links. You will be able to control, shift,
Jasně, to víme.
into a trade window to automatically move all of that currency at once from your inventory.
Což je super.
Detonate Dead now has clearer telegraphing effects. When harvest crafting, the item hover will always be visible, so you no longer have to mouse back and forth to see the results of your crafts.
Jasně, to je dobrý call.
With a Val orb on a map, the map no longer has a chance to become unidentified. Instead, it adds a new implicit. We've created a set of implicits that affect the areas in fun ways.
Okay.
Corrupted and mirrored items can now be identified. Breach hands now open upon approach. And
To je pecka, že můžeš jenom k ním přijít.
Pantheon powers now apply to all characters in a league. You no longer need to grind divine vessels on each new character. With harvest
Big up.
reroll Uber Elder fragments. Fragments dropped by the Shaper cannot be rerolled into fragments dropped by the Elder, and vice versa.
Okay, to je dobrý.
Betrayal. We're removing Ashling's craft.
Jsme víme, jasně, to je Violet Orb, jasně, silnější.
That function. They remove a mod and replace it with a veiled mod. These orbs now drop from Katarina and are no longer a world drop. Flasks can now be corrupted by Val orbs.
Tohle to jsem zvědavý, co to bude.
To plus 10 quality. The capability to add extra quality to weapons, armors, and flasks has been removed from Betrayal. Betrayal bench craft that converts an amulet to a talisman has been moved to Bestiary.
Jasně, budeš to moct tradovat tím pádem. Jasně, přesně.
Invitations no longer drop. Instead, when you have completed witnessing all bosses required to go to the Maven's arena, you can just talk to Karak, and he'll open a map device window with the invitation already in there, ready to be rolled. Valdo's maps that granted invitations now give scarabs. No more having to waste Guardian kills to try get invitations to drop.
Okay.
Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs.
No jo, hele, cinkačka.
Two new series of supporter packs, the Solar and Eldritch packs. Each tier contains the full pack's face value and points, alongside several exclusive micro.
Face value, klasický face value.
Only available for the duration of the Necropolis League, and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Solar series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Cosmos weapon effect adorns your weapon with stars.
Nevypadá to špatně.
Cosmic energy to spill out into the area around them. The Radiant Orb of Chance extra effect projects the outcome of items you've used an Orb of Chance on above your head. Remember to congratulate other exiles in town if you see them chance a powerful unique item. Shine boldly with the Solar Knight armor set.
To se mi moc nelíbí.
Sun radiates from your body.
To se mi moc nelíbí.
More intense as you use skills and emitting solar flares as you run.
To není můj jam.
Dead will be raised from the ground around you before being obliterated and turned to ash by an epic supernova whenever you level up. This one is my personal favorite. The Cosmic Metal Hideout lets you travel the infinite expanse of the cosmos atop the back of a colossal turtle.
Želvička.
Carry the weight of the sun on your back with the Solar Guardian back attachment. Witness it grow larger and larger as the energy of slain enemies.
Budu muset koupit tu želvu.
When it reaches its maximum size, it goes supernova and turns into a black hole, forever drifting throughout Rayclast. The Eldritch Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. Are you wondering if we moved the stash in the latest patch? Don't be fooled, because with the Mimic Stash Pet, players can transform into an image of a stash when in a town or hideout, and scare unsuspecting
Ty vole.
The pet follows behind you with its terrifying hand-walking the rest of the time. The Shaper's Slam finisher effect sends slain unique enemies into a
Final abyss of unending darkness.
The Eldritch Hunger armor set contains a beast that
Tohle už vypadá lepší.
your bloodlust. Watch it grow in power the more you kill until it bursts from the shell of the helmet. Are you able to satiate its hunger? The seed within the corrupted growth map device expands its grasp on your hideout. The more map
Alright.
Equipping the Headhunter character effect causes skulls of slain rare enemies to whirl around you like trophies. They become enraged when you are near a rare enemy you are yet to kill, wishing for them to join your collection. Witness where the struggle didn't exist, allowing the Eldritch Horrors to settle their own conflicts with the Eldritch Horror Apparition effect. Which of the Eater of Worlds or Searing Exarch do you think will win? These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console.
Takže můžeš hned jít nakoupit.
Path of Exile Necropolis.
Hned můžeš jít na cinkačku.
Shade and Disciple packs leave the store forever at the launch of Necropolis League. So now's your last chance to purchase them.
A další FOMO, rychle nakoupte.
For your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D.
Ziggy D, boys.
Post Path of Exile Necropolis's full patch notes. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Necropolis's release. Keep an eye on the news.
Musíme sledovat.
We expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kerax Vault Pass.
No jo, Battle Pass klasický.
Checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to doing some awesome gravecrafts and conquering the new endgame bosses with you next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Tak. Ziggy D, ty byl starý dobrý Ziggy D. No tak, jako musím říct, že je hodně dobrý věci. Spousta těch quality of life changes, to jak se mění atlasy, že budeš moct mít až 3, to, že rušej to hodinový nebo několika hodinový připravování map a že to bude všechno streamlinovější a jednodušší, to je super. Takže přidávají další bosse, to jako čumím, protože jsem myslel, že tohle to jako bude tak, že jako bude nějaká trošku cinkačka.